To which I proclaim that Typhlosion is very underrated. Don't pass it up, especially with it being a fire starter. Especially with many games that there aren't that many fire types in for whatever reason. Some people didn't really like the design of it. I really am disappointed with it shiny. I feel like it could have been better. Like, what they like to do with regional variants is they make their shiny colors based on their original incarnations, which is completely fine. And if that's the case, then I think it's the ethereal flames around its neck should have been the normal flames. It would have been more. It would have made for a nice aesthetic. Huh. I never thought of it that way. Although, to be fair, Game Freak kind of forgot about some Pokemon. That's also partially what happened. It's why whenever they made Diamond and Pearl, was BDSP, the Pokedex was very lacking with fire types. Diamond and Pearl's Pokedex was one of the worst because your fire type options were the Chimchar line and Ponyta and Rapidash. That's it. And then they had a fire type Elite Four member. Do you see a problem here? Yeah, they figured it out though. Other than Stark Mountain, the volcano, but that's post-game. I guess you could put it like around the Fuego Ironworks. But that's about it. I know that in Platinum. Also, it's not very obvious. This guy is the ancestor of Volkner, the 8th gym leader of Sinnoh. But anyway, they did fix the whole issue with they added it, you know, you were able to get Houndour and Houndoom early game, which, okay, fine, because those are Pokemon that can live in urban areas, so it made sense that it was around Veilstone City. And then as for, oh yeah, before I get too carried away, I'm going to go do a few things out in the field lands, if it'll let me. But, Houndour and Houndoom make sense, because they're urban Pokemon. They like areas around the city, and since you find them right outside of Veilstone City, that's a good place to put them. But otherwise, yeah, other than the volcano and Fuego Ironworks, there's really no place you could put fire Pokemon. Yeah, whatever killed them to let us have Eevee. Because then you can go in any direction you want with it. course, that being said, why are there not more Ice-type Pokemon? I can explain more water-type Pokemon because, you know, the ice has to melt at some point, right? It's a shiny Ponyta! Holy crap, I'm joking. This is guaranteed. But it's still pretty neat. No, there's a lot more now. But in Gen 4, yeah, you only had, like, Sans Articuno. You had Seal and Dugong, even though Seal's not an ice type, but anyway. Same goes for Shelter and Cloyster. Articuno doesn't count because it's a legendary. You had Sneasel and Weavile. You have the Spheal line. Then you have Glaceon as an option if you so choose it. Yeah, there's also Snover and the Snorunt lines. I think that's like 8. There's also Lapras, but that's not obtainable until the post-game. Avalugg is a Gen 5 Pokemon. Wait, no. Avalugg's a Gen 6 Pokemon, isn't it? Yeah. It's a bit of a Mandela effect, though, because of its appearance in this game. And it was never really heavily featured, probably because it was overall terrible. Physical defense, the thing's a monster. Special defense, no. One fire type attack from a special attacker, it's done. So yeah, oh, don't even get me started on Gen 1. The biggest type problems were Ghost and Dragon. One Ghost-type family, one Dragon-type family. 3 Ghost-type moves. One does set damage, one does varying damage, and one's a status inflictor. That's all you had. And then as for Dragon type, all you have was one move that did set damage. Well, yeah. Yeah, it definitely did. There's also the Bug type. The Bug type was also not well done until the 3rd generation. That was actually due to a coding error. Because they copied and pasted the Ghost immunity from normal to Psychic by accident. I suppose that's the thing. Eh. I agree, though. I feel like poison and bug kind of go hand in hand with each other at this point. The only issue I had with poison type was it was a bit overdone back then. With a lot of mediocre Pokemon. At least they rectified it later. Like, Weezing and Muck got regional variants and they're actually good now. Looking for another Eevee. Because, I have a different plan for Psychic type. If I can't find this Eevee, I have another plan for a Fairy type. It'll be pretty easy to find Eevee later, though. There's another Pokemon I wouldn't mind finding. A lot of people kind of don't like to give Gen 3 enough credit. Because Gen 3 not only fixed the bug typing, it also fixed the ghost typing as well. It still wasn't perfect, but they really helped it out. Gen 4 was when they started perfecting everything, because the physical special split was a big step up that we desperately needed. Dusknoir is actually pretty underrated. But the best part about it is that it is a very good strategy. I heard it's a very viable strategy in the TCG right now. It apparently checks a lot of the power decks right now. But it's a double-edged sword against a specific deck because it's vulnerable to. It's weak to that type. Well, I don't think another Eevee's going to spawn, so I'm just going to move on. Yeah, this weasel looks pretty big. Let's give it a shot. I could overthrow it too, if that works. Another ghost type that people kind of forget about is Shedinja. It's an interesting idea for a Pokemon, especially since it makes sense lore-wise because Nincada is a cicada. What do cicadas do? They burrow out of the ground and leave and shed their shells. But said shell gets possessed by a malicious spirit. Ah, so it's that one. That makes sense. Yeah, I'm happy that they did something. They ended up doing something with, speaking of ice types, they did something with, Snorunt's line. Like, so Glalie was a very meh Pokemon. So then they gave it a female variant with, Frostlass, which is, it's a glass cannon. That's the best way to describe it. An all-out attacker with very bad defenses. Well, an all-out speedster with, low defenses. Making it pretty good for one thing only. But hey, that one thing it excels at. And then, they were like, we kind of neglected Glalie, so let's just give it a Mega Evolution. Call it a day. And like I said, that is a concept I would have loved for him to have brought back at some point. And it looks like our wish is going to be fulfilled with Legends A to Z. Or Z to A, my bad. But the fact that they're doing something with Kalos after... When did X and Y come out? That was... feels like forever ago. I think I was still in college when it came out. Yeah, I was leaving for a trip with the band. And then... I went very early to pick it up before I had to go report in. You can see what my priorities are, folks. Okay. Picking up random satchels. That is a thing that this game does. It will randomly generate some satchels that a trainer had lost in the field. It's just a bunch of randos, for the most part, unless you decide to connect online. Then you can go and help out other trainers. And then by doing so, you get nice little rewards. Mostly you get these merit points. And what these merit points can do is make it so you can buy evolution items that you wouldn't be able to get otherwise. For example, if you want to evolve Kadabra into Alakazam, you need an item in this game that they debut called the Linking Cord. Which will evolve Pokemon that have to evolve via trade evolutions to evolve. Everyone remember the chaotic evil character that was Mindy? I'll trade you a haunter for my I'll trade you my haunter for a Medicham. Oh, cool! That means I get a Gengar. No. Troll face. It's holding an Everstone. You got my hopes up and then you dashed them. Yeah, because it was also so late in the game that it really didn't matter anymore either. Now, if you were able to get that Gengar, well, potential Gengar. I would say around the third gym-ish. That would have been fine, because then you have a Pokemon that's immune to fighting types, and then you have an answer for Fantina. Yet said answer for Fantina was also a bit of a double-edged sword. Since, as we know, Ghost is weak to itself. One of the few typings that does that. Alright, where am I going? Deer track path. Windswept path, that's what I'm looking for. Ah yes, B-Barrel. One of the most versatile Pokemon in more ways than one. A great answer for several gems, actually. And it's the best HM user in the entire game. Because I believe it can learn every HM except for Flash and Defog. Well, we saw that mystery, didn't we? So-called Will-o'-the-Wisp was just a Chimchar. Alright. I think I've done just about everything I can do except looking for supplies in the Obsidian Fieldlands, at least for now. When did I... Oh, yeah, that's right. Never mind. Answer my own question. Might be best if we just don't tell him. Something wrong? What's going on? This one's actually kind of humorous. Short, black hair. There are some weird clothes and a cape inside. Interesting. Well, this character is apparently the ancestor of Karen from the Johto Elite Four. And they don't forget. Pichu. And that's going to be all the time that we have. So until next time, Ryo Nakage 33 signing off.